Imagine waking up every day to the same routine, feeling like the clock is ticking, yet your life isn't moving forward. You grind at work, chase deadlines, impress others, and yet, deep inside, a quiet voice whispers, "Is this all there is?" The truth is, most of us live in autopilot. We dedicate decades to jobs, promotions, and titles, thinking success is measured by a paycheck. But what if I told you that true fulfillment, real growth, and lasting success are not found in your desk, your office, or your career ladder? They're found in you, your skills, mindset, habits, and the way you evolve as a person. This audiobook is an invitation, an urgent call to shift your focus, to stop measuring life by the job you have and start investing in the person you're becoming. Today we're going to embark on a journey that will challenge everything you thought you knew about work, success, and personal growth. By the end of this audiobook, you'll not only see your career differently, you'll see yourself differently, and that transformation begins right now. Chapter 1. The Illusion of the Job. Have you ever felt that quiet, gnawing tug in your chest, that sense that life is slipping past while you're busy climbing a ladder someone else built? You wake up, you go to work, you clock in, you clock out, and at the end of the day, you wonder, did I actually live today, or did I just survive it? This is the illusion of the job. It's subtle, it creeps in slowly, like fog over a city skyline, until one day you realize that the life you imagined isn't waiting for you somewhere. It's been waiting inside of you, untouched, neglected, hidden behind routines and expectations. Your job can feel like a fortress, stable, structured, safe, and in many ways, it is. But the danger lies in mistaking that safety for identity. The truth is, your job is a role, not a definition of who you are. Titles, positions, and paychecks are temporary markers, not the measure of your potential. And yet, so often we allow them to dictate the rhythm of our lives, the depth of our dreams, and even the weight of our self-worth. Think about it. How often have you introduced yourself by what you do rather than who you are? I'm a lawyer. I'm an engineer. I'm a teacher. Notice the pattern. We define ourselves through work because it's visible, it's measurable, it's socially validated, but when the applause fades, the deadlines vanish, and the office lights dim, who are you then? Who remains when the role disappears? Consider someone like Emma, a talented software developer. She poured herself into her career, mastering every tool, hitting every milestone, chasing every promotion. On paper she was successful, colleagues admired her, her resume sparkled, and yet, inside, she felt a hollowness she couldn't explain. Days blended into nights, achievements felt hollow. She realized she had spent so much time tending to her job that she had neglected herself, her curiosity, her passions, her growth as a human being. Emma's story is not unique. It is, in fact, the story of millions of people who walk through life measuring success with someone else's ruler. And the sad truth is that while jobs can give comfort and recognition, they rarely cultivate the one thing that truly matters: personal growth. Here's the critical point. Your job is a tool, not a master. It is a vehicle for expression, skill, and contribution, but it cannot give you what only you can create for yourself: true fulfillment, deep satisfaction, and the kind of success that carries peace into your evenings and purpose into your mornings. These come from investing in you, not your title. Personal growth is portable. It cannot be taken away by downsizing, layoffs, or company closure. Your learning, your discipline, your emotional depth, they follow you wherever you go. They are yours to cultivate, yours to expand, and yours to protect. Unlike a job, they don't expire. Unlike a title, they don't fade. Unlike a paycheck, they do not fluctuate with the economy. Growth is permanent, and yet, recognizing this is just the beginning. Awareness alone is not enough. You must actively shift your focus from the external validation of a job to the internal cultivation of yourself. You must see work as a platform, not a cage. You must ask yourself every day, am I growing as a person, or am I merely performing as an employee? This question is both simple and profound. It cuts through the noise of urgency, deadlines, and societal expectations. It demands honesty, and it invites change. It invites liberation. When you begin to prioritize growth over position, suddenly, every decision, every task, every interaction transforms. Work stops being a destination, and life becomes a journey that you are consciously shaping. Take a moment and picture the person you wish to become 5 years from now. Are they defined by a title, or are they defined by skills, wisdom, resilience, and experience? Do they measure success by a paycheck, or do they measure it by the depth of their character, the breadth of their knowledge, and the courage they've cultivated to pursue what truly matters? This chapter is about waking up to that possibility. It's about seeing the job for what it is, a structure, a tool, a temporary stage, and recognizing that your identity, your potential, and your future are far greater than the hours you spend behind a desk. Let this be your first step into a new perspective, one where you honor your work without letting it define your worth, where you respect the role but cherish the growth, where you see that investing in yourself is the most reliable, sustainable, and transformative choice you can make. By choosing growth over obligation, by nurturing your curiosity, your skills, your mindset, and your heart, you begin a process that no company, no manager, no economic shift can ever take from you. You begin to live deliberately. You begin to claim the life you were meant to experience. And as you stand at this crossroads, ask yourself quietly, yet firmly, am I ready to stop letting a job define me and start defining myself through growth? The answer to that question will guide every choice you make in the chapters ahead. It will shape the way you approach challenges, opportunities, and even setbacks. It will open doors you didn't even know existed, doors that lead not to promotions, but to transformation. Because once you understand the illusion of the job, you see clearly for the first time where your true power lies. And that power is not in titles, not in salaries, not in recognition. It is in your capacity to grow, to learn, to evolve, and to shape a life that reflects your highest potential. As we step into the next chapter, we will explore the most essential investment you can make, investing in yourself. The path ahead will challenge old beliefs, inspire new habits, and show you how to transform the ordinary hours of your day into extraordinary growth. And now, with your awareness awakened, your journey begins in earnest. Chapter 2: The Power of Self-Investment. Have you ever watched a seed push through the soil, breaking the darkness, stretching toward the sun? It doesn't ask permission. It doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It simply grows. And what allows it to grow is not what surrounds it, but the life within it, the energy, the nutrients, the will to become. In the same way, your personal growth is fueled not by the walls of an office, not by a paycheck, not by titles or recognition. It is fueled by the time, energy, and focus you invest in yourself. Every book you read, every skill you practice, every moment you spend reflecting, learning, and pushing your limits is a deposit into the most important account you will ever own. The account of you. Consider Marcus, a young professional in finance. Every day he showed up early, stayed late, and met every expectation. On paper he was thriving, and yet when he looked at himself in the mirror, he realized something vital was missing. His knowledge of numbers had grown, but his understanding of himself, his creativity, and his capacity for courage had not. He was rich in credentials, but impoverished in experience. This is where self-investment becomes a radical act. To choose personal growth over the illusion of constant productivity is to plant seeds that will bloom far beyond the confines of any office, any role, any career path. Every hour spent learning, creating, or reflecting compounds quietly, invisibly, yet profoundly. The skills you gain today will open doors tomorrow. The mindset you cultivate will shape every decision you make. The resilience you build will carry you through challenges no title could ever shield you from. Investing in yourself is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Your job will demand tasks, deadlines, and results, but it will never demand that you become a better, stronger, wiser version of yourself. That responsibility rests with you and you alone. And the beauty of this truth is that the more you give to yourself, the more you can give to others. Growth is not selfish, It is regenerative. The energy you invest internally radiates outward, influencing relationships, opportunities, and the very world around you. Imagine for a moment what it feels like to be unstoppable, not just competent at a job, but confident in every arena of life, because you have invested in your mind, your body, your emotional intelligence, and your spirit. The person who prioritizes self-investment is never at the mercy of circumstance. They are the masters of their own evolution. This does not mean abandoning responsibility or neglecting work. Quite the opposite. A person who invests in themselves approaches work with a new kind of power. Tasks are no longer burdens. Challenges are no longer obstacles. Every problem becomes a lesson. Every interaction an opportunity to practice patience, leadership, or creativity. Growth transforms ordinary moments into extraordinary training ground. Consider Sophia, an artist who spent her mornings learning marketing strategies, afternoons mastering a new painting technique, and evenings reflecting on her personal vision. She didn't wait for recognition, clients, or approval. She invested in herself, and through that her work and her life began to flourish in ways she had never imagined. What she built could not be taken from her, and the value she created radiated far beyond her studio wall. Self-investment is also a choice to prioritize long-term potential over short-term comfort. It's the willingness to trade temporary ease for lasting growth. It's saying no to distractions that drain energy, yes to disciplines that expand. It is the deliberate cultivation of habits, knowledge, and skills that prepare you for opportunities you cannot yet see. And yet self-investment begins with awareness. It begins with asking, where am I stagnant? What have I neglected? Which part of myself deserves attention today? These questions, though simple, are profound. They are a compass guiding you toward the life you are capable of creating. Think about it like this. Every hour you spend learning a new skill, practicing a craft, or reflecting on your thoughts, is an hour spent in compound interest. Just as a small financial investment grows exponentially over time, so too does the energy you pour into yourself. The returns may not be immediate, but they are inevitable, and unlike any paycheck or promotion, these returns belong entirely to you. They are permanent, portable, and transformative. Personal growth is not accidental, it is intentional, deliberate, and continuous. It requires courage to prioritize yourself when the world demands attention elsewhere. It requires discipline to choose learning over comfort, reflection over distraction, curiosity over complacency, and it requires patience to trust the process, knowing that the small, consistent investments you make today will shape the magnitude of your future. Now pause and imagine the person you could become if every day you invested in yourself just a little more. The depth of your knowledge, the clarity of your purpose, the strength of your habits, the wisdom you cultivate. Each layer builds upon the next, until you are no longer defined by titles, jobs, or roles, but by the fullness of who you are, a person of skill, insight, and boundless potential. This is the power of self-investment. It transforms ordinary lives into extraordinary journeys. It turns survival into mastery. It shifts the center of your life from external validation to internal empowerment. And once you begin, there is no limit to how far you can go. As you close this chapter, remember this: your growth is your responsibility, your legacy, and your freedom. No one else can invest in you the way you can. No one else can unlock your potential. And no external circumstance, no job, no title can ever diminish the value of the person you are choosing to become today. In the next chapter, we will explore a profound shift in perspective, the way you define success itself. Because once you understand the power of self-investment, the way you measure your life will never be the same, and that redefinition is where true transformation begins. Chapter 3. Redefining Success. Close your eyes for a moment and picture the world's idea of success. You see skyscrapers, shiny cars, corner offices, and the applause of others. You see promotions, accolades, and numbers climbing on a paycheck. Now pause. Ask yourself quietly, does this image make your heart sing, or does it whisper emptiness beneath the surface? For too long, we've been taught to chase someone else's definition of success. Society tells us that prestige equals worth, that recognition equals fulfillment, and that wealth equals happiness. But these are fragile markers. They can vanish overnight. A promotion may arrive, a bonus may come. But if your inner world is neglected, all the external applause feels hollow. Think about Daniel, a gifted entrepreneur. On paper he had everything: wealth, status, influence. And yet when he sat alone in his penthouse at night, he felt a gnawing sense of disconnection. He realized that he had spent decades building an empire without building himself. Titles can impress others. Skills, wisdom, and emotional depth impress no one but life itself. And that is the kind of success that lasts. Redefining success begins with a profound question. How do I want to feel at the end of my life? Not what do I want to own, but who do I want to become? Not how high can I climb, but how deeply can I grow? True success is not measured by material accumulation or by applause. It is measured by the expansion of your mind, the resilience of your spirit, and the courage of your choices. Consider success as a garden. Money, title, and prestige are like decorative stones. They may shine, but they cannot grow life. Growth comes from the soil beneath: character, discipline, empathy, curiosity, and creativity. This soil is where fulfillment takes root, where resilience strengthens, and where your life transforms from ordinary to extraordinary. Redefining success also means letting go of comparison. When we define ourselves against others, we hand over our power. The path of growth is unique. Two people can have identical jobs, identical paychecks, and yet live completely different lives. One alive, curious, and evolving; the other stagnant, fearful, and reactive. Your journey cannot be measured by someone else's milestones. Your success is entirely personal. Think of success as the quality of your presence rather than the weight of your achievements. How do you show up in your relationships? How do you handle challenges? How much do you invest in your mind, body, and soul? These questions reveal a deeper, more durable measure of progress. They are the compass that guides true fulfillment, long after titles fade and paychecks end. To redefine success, start small. Celebrate growth rather than outcome. Notice the moments when you chose learning over comfort, reflection over distraction, courage over fear. Each of these is a milestone, invisible to the world but monumental in shaping your life. Take Sarah, a young teacher, as an example. She was never the highest paid or most decorated in her field, but she invested in her skills, nurtured her curiosity, and connected deeply with her students. Her success was not on a spreadsheet or an award plaque. It was in the lives she touched, in the confidence she cultivated, and in the joy she found each day in the pursuit of growth. Redefining success also frees you from the tyranny of timeline. Life is not a checklist to be completed by a certain age. Growth is not a race to an arbitrary finish line. Your pace is your own. Your milestones are your own. And when you measure your life by depth, learning, and presence, you discover a richness that no external achievement could ever provide. It's crucial to recognize that this shift is not about abandoning ambition. Ambition is vital, but ambition guided by internal growth looks very different from ambition driven by ego or societal pressure. The first builds resilience, character, and opportunity. The second builds stress, comparison, and anxiety. One nourishes life, the other drains it. Your task is to align ambition with personal evolution, so that your achievements reflect the growth of your mind and spirit, not just your resume. Another key to redefining success is embracing impermanence. Every job, every title, every accolade is temporary. But who you are becoming, that is enduring. Skills, insights, emotional intelligence, and character are portable. They travel with you, survive setbacks, and multiply opportunity. The person who understands this does not fear failure. They see every setback as a classroom, every challenge as an opportunity to expand. And here lies the liberation. When you redefine success, you stop chasing illusions. You stop trading your life for a hollow measure of worth. You stop living in the shadow of other people's expectations, and you begin to live deliberately, consciously, and with purpose. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, what does success look like when measured by growth instead of approval, by courage instead of comfort, by depth instead of decoration? Hold that image in your mind, let it sink into your heart, That is your true north. That is the path that transforms ordinary existence into a life of meaning. As we move into the next chapter, we will explore the uncomfortable but essential truth about comfort itself, how it can quietly hold us back, and what it takes to break free. Because success redefined is not just an idea, it is action, and action requires courage, discipline, and the willingness to step into discomfort. By understanding success differently, you've planted a seed, and in the next chapter, we'll uncover how to nurture that seed, how to step into the spaces that demand growth, and how to transform potential into reality. The journey continues and your life begins to shift as you open yourself to a deeper, more powerful vision of what it truly means to succeed. Chapter 4. Breaking Free from Comfort. Have you ever felt the strange pull of safety? The kind that whispers in your ear, promising ease, predictability, and familiarity. It feels good at first. Warm, secure, like sinking into a chair that fits perfectly. And yet somewhere deep inside, there's a voice asking, is this enough? Is this all there is? Comfort is seductive. It lulls us into routines, habits, and spaces that feel safe but do not grow us. It convinces us that staying in the known is wise, that avoiding risk is prudent, but the truth is that comfort, while pleasant, is the silent thief of potential. It chains ambition, narrows vision, and quietly dims the fire that could light your life on a path of extraordinary growth. Consider Jason, a mid-level manager who stayed in the same role for over a decade. He knew every process, every system, every colleague. Stability surrounded him like a fortress. And yet when he looked back, he realized he had missed opportunities to challenge himself, to stretch his abilities, to grow in ways that truly mattered. The comfort of certainty had become the prison of stagnation. Breaking free from comfort is not about recklessness. It is about conscious courage. It is about stepping into the spaces that scare you, even when they are uncomfortable, uncertain, or unfamiliar. Growth always requires this step. Every skill worth learning, every insight worth gaining, every transformation worth experiencing lies just beyond the edge of ease. Imagine a tree, in calm soil with steady sunlight. It grows slowly, predictably, but remains small. Plant that same tree in rocky ground battered by winds and challenged by drought, and it will stretch taller, develop deeper roots, and become resilient. Growth is forged in tension, not in ease. Comfort will never push you to reach higher. Discomfort. This is why discomfort is a signal, not a threat. It is the universe's way of inviting you to expand, to explore, to evolve. When you feel the pressure of the unknown, the anxiety of trying something new, or the fear of stepping outside routine, recognize it as a doorway, not a warning. Beyond that doorway lies your potential, waiting to be claimed. Breaking free from comfort requires awareness. Notice where you cling to the familiar. Notice where fear of failure keeps you from speaking up, taking initiative, or pursuing a dream. These are the chains. Recognizing them is the first step toward liberation. Awareness alone begins to loosen the grip, and action, deliberate, intentional, courageous action, completes the release. Take Maya, an aspiring writer, as an example. She spent years in a secure corporate job, avoiding the uncertainty of pursuing her passion. Every day she told herself she would write when she had more time, or when she was ready. Then, one day she realized that the only thing stopping her was her own fear of discomfort. She began writing, 1 hour a day, confronting the insecurity, the self-doubt, the unknown, and in that discomfort, she discovered her voice, her purpose, and a life that felt fully alive. Comfort often hides behind rationalizations. I can't afford to risk this. I need more preparation. It's not the right time. These statements sound wise, but more often they are excuses disguised as prudence. Growth requires action despite uncertainty, mastery despite fear, and progress despite imperfection. Waiting for the perfect moment is a trap. There is no perfect moment. There is only now, and what you choose to do with it. The challenge of breaking free from comfort is also emotional. You may feel anxiety, frustration, or even guilt. People around you may question your choice, but every person who has grown beyond the ordinary has experienced these same feelings. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is action in the presence of fear. Every step you take beyond what feels safe is a step into a larger version of yourself. Discomfort is the forge of character. It teaches resilience, humility, patience, and confidence. It reveals strengths you never knew you had. It tests your commitment to growth, forcing you to confront limitations and expand beyond them. And over time, the person who consistently chooses growth over ease becomes someone who can handle any challenge, embrace any opportunity, and navigate life with a depth that comfort alone could never provide. Breaking free from comfort is also a mindset. It is the willingness to view challenges as invitations rather than obstacles, failures as lessons rather than verdicts, and uncertainty as a canvas rather than a cage. This mindset transforms life from a predictable routine into a dynamic adventure where every choice is an opportunity to grow, evolve, and expand. It begins with small steps. Say yes to a task you've avoided. Speak up when it feels risky. Try something new, even when you feel inadequate. These actions compound over time, building courage, confidence, and momentum. Comfort is replaced with possibility. Fear is replaced with experience. Stagnation is replaced with growth. And remember, breaking free from comfort is not a one-time act. It is a continuous practice, a daily choice. Life will always offer the easy path, the familiar option. Your growth, your transformation, and your fulfillment depend on consistently choosing the harder, the unfamiliar, the uncomfortable path. That is where life unfolds in full color. As you reflect on this, recognize that your comfort zone is not safe. It is static. Beyond it lies movement, possibility, and transformation. By stepping forward into discomfort, you awaken the power that has been dormant inside you. You begin to live intentionally, and the extraordinary life you imagine becomes possible. In the next chapter, we will explore the mindset that allows you to embrace growth, even in the face of fear, doubt, and resistance. We will uncover how a growth mindset becomes the foundation for breaking free from limitations, expanding your potential, and fully claiming the life you were meant to live. The journey continues and the door to transformation stands open. Your choice is simple: remain in comfort or step boldly into growth. Chapter 5: Cultivating a Growth Mindset. Close your eyes for a moment and picture a river flowing over rocks. It doesn't fight the obstacles in its path. It doesn't stagnate when the current slows. It adapts, bends, and finds its way forward, carving valleys, nourishing life, and moving ever onward. This is the essence of a growth mindset: the ability to face challenges, embrace learning, and evolve continuously. A growth mindset is more than just positive thinking. It is a conscious decision to see potential where others see limits, opportunity where others see failure, and learning where others see defeat. It is the difference between saying, "I can't do this," and saying, "I haven't mastered this yet." The first sentence closes doors, the second opens them. Consider Alex, a young professional who struggled with public speaking. Every presentation felt like a test he would fail. For years he avoided opportunities, telling himself he lacked the skill. Then he shifted his perspective. Instead of fearing imperfection, he embraced it. Each speech became a practice ground, each mistake a teacher. Over time his confidence grew, his skill sharpened, and what once paralyzed him became one of his greatest strengths. This is the power of a growth mindset: the courage to see every challenge as a doorway to transformation. A growth mindset begins with self-awareness. Notice the stories you tell yourself about your abilities. Notice where fear, doubt, or complacency quietly take hold. These stories are often invisible, but they shape your actions, decisions, and results. The moment you observe them, you create a space for change. Awareness is the seed, and intentional action is the water and sunlight that allow it to grow. This mindset transforms failure from a verdict into feedback. It teaches us that setbacks are not the end of the road, but guideposts along the journey. Every time you stumble, you gain data, insight, and experience. Every misstep is an opportunity to course correct, to refine your approach, and to strengthen your resilience. People with a growth mindset do not fear failure, they study it, learn from it, and rise stronger. Think about how children learn. A toddler falls dozens of times learning to walk, but she does not label herself as incapable. She tries again, each attempt teaching her something new. Adults, on the other hand, often approach challenges with fear, self-doubt, and fixed ideas about ability. A growth mindset reconnects us with that innate curiosity, resilience, and courage we possessed as children, but may have lost along the way. Embracing a growth mindset also requires humility. It demands the recognition that no matter how much we know, there is always more to learn. It invites us to be curious, to ask questions, and to listen deeply. People with this mindset do not cling to ego or certainty. They understand that wisdom grows in the soil of openness, vulnerability, and continuous exploration. Take Lila, a graphic designer who had mastered every tool in her field, yet she remained restless, sensing untapped potential. Instead of resting on her accomplishments, she sought out new techniques, experimented with unfamiliar styles, and asked for feedback from peers. Each step outside her comfort zone expanded her creativity and renewed her passion. Growth, she realized, was not about proving herself. It was about evolving herself. A growth mindset also reshapes the way we approach relationships and collaboration. It allows us to see the value in others' perspectives, to seek guidance without shame, and to mentor without ego. When we focus on learning rather than judgment, we elevate both ourselves and those around us. A person committed to growth does not compete for validation. They create an ecosystem where growth is possible for everyone. Implementing a growth mindset is a daily practice. Start by noticing language. Replace fixed phrases like, "I'm just not good at this," with "I'm learning, and I will improve." Reflect on challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles. Seek feedback not as criticism, but as information that guides your evolution. Celebrate progress, not perfection. These small shifts compound over time, reshaping your thinking, behavior, and results. Another aspect of a growth mindset is patience. Transformation is not instantaneous. The river does not carve the canyon in a day. It is relentless, consistent, and persistent. Your growth follows the same rhythm. Every hour you invest, every lesson you absorb, every discomfort you embrace, becomes part of the journey. Over time, these small actions accumulate into profound change. A growth mindset also requires courage, the courage to question old beliefs, the courage to step into discomfort, and the courage to risk failure for the sake of learning. It is a mindset that refuses to be limited by past experiences, societal expectations, or self-imposed barriers. Instead, it constantly asks, "How can I become better, wiser, stronger today?" Finally, a growth mindset transforms your experience of life itself. Work becomes more than a set of tasks. It becomes a playground for mastery. Challenges become opportunities for innovation. Relationships become spaces for mutual learning and support. And even in failure, you find wisdom, insight, and the foundation for the next step. Growth does not guarantee ease, but it guarantees evolution, resilience, and deeper fulfillment. As you reflect on this, ask yourself, where in my life can I shift from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset? Where can I embrace learning, curiosity, and resilience instead of fear, doubt, and limitation? The answers to these questions will guide your transformation, shaping not just your career, but the fullness of your life. In the next chapter, we will explore how to harness discipline as the bridge between mindset and action, because a growth mindset alone, without consistent practice, remains potential unrealized. Discipline is what turns insight into reality, vision into achievement, and possibility into results. Your journey continues, and the door to mastery is waiting. With every choice to learn, adapt, and grow, you step closer to the life you were meant to lead. Chapter 6. Discipline as the bridge between vision and action. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast canyon. On the other side lies everything you desire, your potential, your dreams, your most authentic self. but between you and that life stretches a chasm. The question is not whether you can see the other side, but how you will cross it. Vision alone cannot carry you. Inspiration alone cannot move you. What bridges the gap is discipline. Discipline is often misunderstood. Many see it as restriction, as a rigid schedule or a set of rules. But discipline is not punishment. It is liberation. It is the daily commitment to act on your vision, even when motivation falters, even when distractions tempt you, and even when fear whispers that you are not enough. Discipline transforms intention into reality, turning dreams from fragile ideas into concrete achievements. Consider Hannah, a writer with a dream of publishing her first novel. She lacked time, energy, and confidence, yet every morning she woke an hour earlier to write without fail. Some days the words flowed effortlessly, other days they came in fragments, messy and imperfect. But the discipline to show up consistently built momentum. Weeks became months, months became a manuscript, and eventually her book was complete. Discipline bridged the gap between imagination and accomplishment. Discipline is not about grand gestures. It is about the small, consistent choices that compound over time. Every decision to act, every refusal to surrender to distraction, every commitment kept, no matter how minor, adds up. It is the quiet force behind all lasting success, the engine that drives transformation while the world waits for luck or inspiration to strike. This principle applies in every area of life: physical health, mental clarity, emotional resilience, skill mastery. All of it requires discipline. You cannot meditate once and expect peace. You cannot study once and expect mastery. You cannot exercise once and expect strength. But repeated, consistent action creates results far beyond what sporadic effort can achieve. Discipline is the multiplier of potential. Discipline also teaches courage. It is easy to start something new when you feel motivated, when conditions are ideal. The real test is taking action when resistance rises, when you are tired, when doubt creeps in. Choosing to act in those moments is what separates fleeting inspiration from enduring achievement. Each act of discipline builds trust in yourself, proving that you are capable of more than you believed. Think of it like this: your vision is the blueprint, your passion is the spark, but discipline is the architect and builder. Without structure and consistent effort, the blueprint remains a dream, and the spark fades. Discipline constructs the reality that imagination first conceived. It is both a tool and a philosophy, a commitment to live intentionally, to bridge desire with execution. Discipline also nurtures freedom. Paradoxically, the more you commit to consistent action, the less enslaved you are to whims, distractions, and uncertainty. The person who is disciplined does not react to life, they shape it. Each choice becomes deliberate, each day intentional. They wake up knowing that their actions are aligned with their vision, and that alignment brings clarity, confidence, and power. Consider Raj, an entrepreneur who struggled with scattered energy and unfulfilled plans. He implemented simple but rigorous routines. He prioritized critical tasks, limited distractions, and tracked his progress daily. At first it felt restrictive, even uncomfortable, but over time, discipline created structure, momentum, and predictability. His life became a canvas where vision and action converged, and the chaos of uncertainty transformed into consistent forward motion. Discipline requires patience. It is not a one-time surge of effort, but a lifestyle of commitment. Results often lag behind action, and the temptation to give up is strong. Yet each step, each choice, each repetition builds a foundation. Mountains are climbed not in a single leap, but one step at a time. Every act of discipline adds a stone to the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Importantly, discipline is flexible, not rigid. It does not demand perfection, only persistence. Missing a day does not erase progress. It teaches humility, resilience, and recalibration. The disciplined individual understands that consistency outweighs intensity. Small repeated actions compound far more powerfully than occasional bursts of effort. Discipline is patience in motion, commitment without obsession, persistence without rigidity. Another key to discipline is clarity. You cannot commit to a path if your destination is vague. The more specific your vision, the easier it is to define the steps that will take you there. When you combine clarity with consistent action, the momentum becomes unstoppable. Discipline is the vehicle that carries your vision across the terrain of uncertainty, fear, and distraction. And here lies the truth. Talent alone is insufficient, vision alone is fragile, and passion alone is fleeting. Discipline is what guarantees progress, transforms potential into achievement, and bridges the gap between intention and reality. Without it, even the most brilliant ideas remain unfulfilled, the most vivid dreams remain distant. With it, ordinary people achieve extraordinary outcomes. So reflect on your life. Where are you dreaming without acting? Where are you inspired without showing up? Where is potential waiting for consistent effort to awaken it? The answer lies in your willingness to embrace discipline, not as restriction, but as the bridge to freedom, mastery, and fulfillment. In the next chapter, we will explore the art of focus, how to channel your energy, eliminate distractions, and align your daily actions with your deepest priority. Discipline lays the foundation, but focus directs the power, shaping your work into meaningful, measurable, life-changing results. The journey continues. You now understand that vision requires action, and action requires commitment. Step forward with intention, and the bridge between your dreams and your reality becomes solid beneath your feet. Chapter 7. Mastering the Art of Focus. Imagine standing in a room filled with hundreds of flickering lights, each one demanding your attention. Your mind darts from one to the next, overwhelmed, scattered, exhausted. This is modern life without focus, constant motion without direction, energy wasted, potential diluted. But now, imagine selecting a single beam of light, locking onto it, and letting it illuminate everything that matters. That is focus. That is the force that turns scattered effort into extraordinary results. Focus is more than attention. It is intention in action. It is the ability to direct your mental energy, your time, and your efforts toward what truly matters, without succumbing to distraction, noise, or the endless pull of convenience. It is the bridge between discipline and achievement, the lens through which growth becomes visible and measurable. Take Samuel, a software developer, for instance. Every day he was bombarded with emails, notifications, and urgent requests. His work stretched endlessly, yet meaningful progress felt rare. One day, he began practicing deliberate focus. He blocked time for his most important projects, silenced distractions, and approached tasks with full attention. What had seemed impossible in scattered bursts became manageable. Deadlines were met, creativity flourished, and a sense of mastery replaced exhaustion. Focus transformed his days from chaos into clarity. Focus begins with clarity. You cannot direct your energy toward what is unclear. Ask yourself, what matters most in your life, right now? Which actions align with your vision, your growth, your purpose? These answers define the direction of your focus. Without them, you drift. With them, every decision, every action, becomes a deliberate step toward your desired life. Another essential aspect of focus is saying no. Every time you say yes to something misaligned with your goals, you subtract energy from what truly matters. Distractions are not always external. Often, they are internal. The temptation of procrastination, the lure of trivial tasks, or the pull of unproductive thoughts. Discipline lays the foundation, but focus requires boundaries. Protect your time, protect your attention, and guard the quality of your energy fiercely. Consider Emma, a talented artist who juggled multiple projects at once, none completed to her satisfaction. She learned to identify her highest priority goal and devote undivided attention to it. She said no to smaller, less meaningful tasks, and allowed herself to fully immerse in what mattered most. Her art evolved, her satisfaction deepened, and the quality of her work reached heights that had seemed impossible before. Focus, in her case, became the secret weapon of her creativity and growth. Focus is also a mindset. It requires presence, the conscious choice to inhabit the moment fully. Multitasking, constant checking of messages, or planning 10 steps ahead dilutes energy and reduces effectiveness. The person who masters focus immerses in the task at hand, giving it the depth, time, and attention it deserves. The result is not only productivity, but the creation of work that is meaningful, precise, and impactful. Energy management is another key component. Even with clarity and boundaries, focus cannot thrive when you are physically or mentally depleted. Sleep, nutrition, movement, and emotional regulation are not indulgences, they are investments in the capacity to concentrate. Focus grows where energy is nurtured, and diminishes where it is neglected. Consider focus as a muscle. The stronger your body and mind, the longer and deeper it can sustain attention on what matters. Focus is also resilient. Distractions, interruptions, and setbacks are inevitable. The disciplined individual who masters focus does not surrender to them. They acknowledge the noise and return attention to what matters. This resilience is cultivated over time, through daily practice, through the conscious choice to recommit every moment to the task that moves the needle of growth. Moreover, focus requires alignment with your purpose. If your actions lack meaning, concentration becomes tedious and unsustainable. When your tasks are connected to your deeper goals, your focus is fueled by intrinsic motivation. It becomes easier to resist distractions, endure challenges, and sustain effort over long periods. Purpose amplifies focus. Focus amplifies purpose. Together they create a force that can transform ordinary effort into extraordinary results. Small, consistent practices strengthen focus. Begin by identifying your top 3 priorities for the day. Set clear start and end times for tasks. Eliminate interruptions. Practice single tasking instead of scattering attention. Gradually, focus becomes a habit, a state of mind, and a default approach to every challenge. The cumulative effect is profound. Time is reclaimed, energy is optimized, and results multiply. Focus is also about eliminating mental clutter. Thoughts, worries, and unresolved issues act like static on a radio, disrupting clarity and attention. Journaling, meditation, or even brief reflection allows the mind to settle, creating space for concentrated effort. A clear mind is fertile ground for deep work, creative problem-solving, and insightful decision-making. Finally, focus is liberating. It allows you to take control of your life, rather than react to every demand and distraction. It enables progress without friction, clarity without confusion, and achievement without chaos. It turns effort into momentum, ideas into action, and potential into reality. The person who masters focus lives intentionally, acts purposefully, and achieves consistently. As you reflect on your life, ask yourself, where is my attention scattered? What truly deserves my energy? How can I structure my days to align with my most meaningful goals? The answers to these questions will define the trajectory of your life. Focus is the lens through which all your efforts are clarified, strengthened, and magnified. In the next chapter, we will explore resilience, the capacity to endure, adapt, and thrive in the face of setbacks, challenges, and uncertainty. Discipline and focus lay the groundwork, but resilience allows you to persist, recover, and continue moving toward your vision, no matter what life throws your way. Your journey continues. With focus as your compass, every choice becomes intentional, every action impactful, and every moment a step toward the extraordinary life you are capable of creating. Chapter 8. Building Resilience. Thriving Through Adversity. Close your eyes and imagine standing in the middle of a storm. Rain lashes against your skin, winds howl around you, and the sky above churns with darkness. Every instinct urges you to run, to hide, to surrender. Yet in the heart of the storm, there is a choice, to crumble, or to stand firm and bend without breaking. That choice, that steadfast courage to endure, adapt, and rise, is resilience. Resilience is not about avoiding hardship. It is about moving through it with strength, clarity, and intention. It is the quality that allows people to recover from failure, disappointment, and challenge, and emerge wiser, stronger, and more capable than before. Life is unpredictable, and adversity is inevitable. But resilience transforms obstacles into teachers, setbacks into stepping stones, and pain into growth. Consider Sophia, a young entrepreneur who faced repeated business failures. Each loss could have broken her confidence, left her questioning her worth. But instead, she leaned into resilience. She analyzed each setback, extracted the lessons, and tried again with renewed strategy. Over time, what initially seemed like repeated defeat became the foundation for her ultimate success. Resilience is what allowed her to persist when others gave up. The first step in cultivating resilience is perspective. Adversity can either define us or refine us. The difference lies in how we interpret the experience. Viewing challenges as temporary, external, and surmountable empowers us to act. When you tell yourself, "This is an obstacle, not a verdict," you reclaim agency. You choose growth over despair, learning over limitation, action over stagnation. Resilience also requires emotional awareness. Life's storms are not only external, they are internal. Fear, doubt, frustration, and anger often rise alongside difficulty. A resilient person does not ignore these emotions. They acknowledge them, understand their source, and use them as signals, not shackles. Emotional intelligence is the foundation of resilience. The ability to feel deeply, reflect honestly, and respond deliberately. Let me share a story. Marcus, a professional athlete, suffered a career-threatening injury. Pain, uncertainty, and fear surrounded him. Yet, instead of succumbing, he focused on what he could control: his recovery, his mindset, and his dedication. Each day became a small victory, each milestone a step forward. Months later he returned stronger, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. Resilience is forged in the fire of challenge, and every trial strengthens the spirit. Another key element is adaptability. Life rarely unfolds according to plan. The resilient individual does not resist change. They embrace it, adjust strategies, and navigate new realities. Flexibility does not signify weakness, it signifies wisdom and strength. Rigid resistance can break, but adaptive persistence endures. To thrive in adversity, you must learn to bend, not break, to flow with circumstance while maintaining your direction. Support networks are vital. Resilience is not about solitary heroism. Connections, friends, family, mentors, colleagues, provide perspective, encouragement, and guidance. Seeking help is not weakness. It is a strategic choice that strengthens your capacity to withstand challenges. Surround yourself with those who uplift, inspire, and challenge you to grow. Strength grows in connection as much as it does in solitude. Resilience also grows from self-discipline. Consistent habits, routines, and practices cultivate a foundation that adversity cannot easily shake. Discipline is the scaffolding of resilience. It ensures that when life gets chaotic, you have structure, clarity, and momentum. Daily practices of focus, learning, and intentional action create reserves of strength that can be drawn upon when trials arise. Reflection and meaning-making are equally important. After every setback, pause, reflect, and ask, "What does this teach me? How can I grow from this? How does this experience shape the person I am becoming?" Resilience is amplified by insight. Challenges are not meaningless. They are invitations to evolve, to deepen your understanding, and to strengthen your character. Moreover, resilience is rooted in purpose, a clear vision of why you do what you do. The deeper meaning behind your actions fuels perseverance. When the journey is aligned with values, passion, and purpose, obstacles become bearable, even meaningful. Purpose is the anchor that keeps you steady, the beacon that guides you through turbulent waters, and the flame that rekindles hope when it flickers. Finally, resilience is a practice, not a trait. It is developed intentionally through small, consistent choices, showing up despite fear, speaking up despite doubt, trying again despite failure. Each act of courage, however minor, strengthens the resilience muscle. Over time, it becomes a default response, an inner strength that empowers you to face any storm with grace and determination. As you reflect, ask yourself, where in my life do I need to be more resilient? Which challenges have I been avoiding, resisting, or fearing? How can I embrace adversity as a teacher, rather than a threat? The answers lie not in avoidance, but in conscious, courageous engagement with life's trial. In the next chapter, we will explore the power of strategic action, turning resilience, focus, and discipline into deliberate, high-impact steps that accelerate progress toward your vision. Resilience prepares you to endure. Strategic action transforms endurance into achievement. Your journey continues. With resilience as your shield and compass, every challenge becomes an opportunity, every setback a lesson, and every storm a path to strength, wisdom, and transformation. Chapter 9. Strategic Action. Turning Vision into Results. Picture yourself at the top of a hill, looking out over a vast landscape. You can see the distant city of your dreams, the life you imagine, the achievements you desire. The view is breathtaking, but it also exposes the vastness of the journey. The road is long, winding, and filled with obstacles. Having vision, discipline, focus, and resilience is essential, but none of it produces results without action. Strategic action is the bridge that carries you from intention to impact. Strategic action is not random effort, it is deliberate, purposeful, and aligned with your highest priorities. It is about moving with clarity, precision, and efficiency toward your goals. While discipline keeps you consistent, focus sharpens your attention, and resilience sustains you through challenges. Strategic action ensures that every effort produces maximum results. Take Ayusha, a marketing professional who dreamed of launching her own business. She had ideas, passion, and energy, but initial attempts were scattered. She worked long hours on projects that yielded little impact. Then she learned the power of strategic action. She mapped out her top goals, identified the actions that would produce the highest return, and created a step-by-step plan. Instead of busy work, she executed high-leverage tasks consistently. Within months, her efforts compounded, her business gained traction, and her vision began to materialize. Strategic action begins with clarity of purpose. Ask yourself, what outcomes matter most? What actions will bring me closest to my vision? Without this clarity, effort becomes scattered, energy wasted, and progress slow. The person who acts strategically understands that not all tasks are equal. Some move the needle, others simply fill time. Identify the critical few, focus on them, and let go of the trivial many. Prioritization is essential. The temptation to chase every opportunity, respond to every demand, or solve every problem is strong. Yet progress favors the deliberate. Strategic action requires ruthless prioritization, choosing what matters now, while postponing or delegating the rest. This choice creates leverage, amplifies impact, and ensures that your energy aligns with your highest goals. Timing is another cornerstone. Action without timing can be wasted energy. Timing without action is wasted potential. Understanding when to act, when to wait, and when to adjust is a subtle but powerful skill. It requires awareness of your environment, resources, and internal state. Strategic individuals act not impulsively, but with informed intention, seizing the moments that offer maximum advantage. Accountability strengthens strategic action. Without it, even the most well-designed plan may falter. Tracking progress, reviewing results, and adjusting tactics ensure that your actions remain aligned with your vision. Accountability can be personal through journaling or reflection, or external, through mentors, peers, or partners who challenge and support your journey. Consider David, an aspiring author. He committed to writing daily, but progress was slow and inconsistent. When he joined a writing accountability group, his productivity soared. Feedback, deadlines, and peer support created a framework that kept him on track. Within a year, his first book was complete. Strategic action thrives when paired with accountability. One provides the map, the other ensures you walk the path. Strategic action also requires adaptability. Plans are guides, not rigid rules. Circumstances change, challenges arise, and new opportunities emerge. The individual who succeeds is not the one who clings stubbornly to a plan, but the one who adjusts intelligently, learning from experience while keeping their ultimate vision intact. Flexibility is not weakness, it is wisdom in motion. Small, consistent steps are powerful. Massive action is tempting, but sustainable progress often comes from repeated, focused actions executed with precision. Each small victory compounds, creating momentum, confidence, and visible results. Strategic action is a series of deliberate, aligned choices, each one building on the last, until the distant city of your dreams becomes the reality at your feet. Decision-making is at the heart of strategic action. Every choice matters. What project do you start today? Which conversation do you prioritize? Where do you allocate your energy? Thoughtful, intentional decisions, even in the face of uncertainty, shape outcomes. Indecision is the enemy of progress. Deliberate action is its ally. Reflection and learning are equally vital. Every action produces information, feedback, results, insights. Strategic actors do not ignore this data. They analyze, learn, and adjust. Success is not accidental, it is iterative. Each step informs the next, each outcome guides the strategy, and each lesson strengthens future decisions. Finally, strategic action is fueled by alignment, the alignment of vision, discipline, focus, resilience, and purpose. Alone, each quality is powerful. Together, they form a system. Vision defines the destination, discipline sustains effort, focus sharpens attention, resilience withstands adversity, and strategic action converts all of this into tangible results. When aligned, they produce momentum that is unstoppable. As you reflect, ask yourself, are my actions deliberate or scattered? Am I prioritizing what truly moves me forward? Am I learning, adapting, and aligning my choices with my highest goals? The answers will determine whether your dreams remain distant or become tangible reality. In the next chapter, we will bring everything together. We will explore the culmination of vision, discipline, focus, resilience, and strategic action, how to integrate these principles into a life of lasting fulfillment, impact, and purpose. This final chapter will provide the perspective and tools to ensure that your journey leads not only to achievement, but to meaningful transformation. Your journey continues. With strategic action as your engine, every choice becomes deliberate, every effort amplifies impact, and every day becomes a step closer to the extraordinary life you are capable of creating. Chapter 10: Integration. Living the life you envision. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast ocean at sunrise. The horizon glows with possibility. Waves shimmer with light, and the air vibrates with promise. Behind you lies the journey. Every step of focus, discipline, resilience, and strategic action. Ahead stretches infinite potential. Now is the moment to integrate everything you have learned and step fully into the life you are capable of creating. Integration is the art of bringing together vision, mindset, habits, and action into a cohesive whole. It is not enough to know the principles of success or understand personal growth intellectually. Transformation occurs when knowledge becomes lived experience, when every choice, every thought, and every action aligns with your deepest purpose. Think of the life you desire. Perhaps it is freedom. Freedom of time, freedom of thought, freedom to create. Perhaps it is achievement. Reaching heights you once thought unattainable. Perhaps it is meaning. Building a legacy, impacting others, or living with authenticity. Integration ensures that your journey toward these goals is seamless, intentional, and sustainable. Let us revisit the pillars we have explored. First, focus. The ability to direct your attention and energy toward what truly matters. Without focus, your life drifts. With it, you channel your efforts into meaningful results. Then comes discipline, the daily commitment to show up, to practice, and to honor your goals even when motivation wanes. Discipline builds consistency and cultivates trust in yourself. Resilience allows you to weather storms, to bend without breaking, and to find lessons in adversity. It is the inner strength that turns setbacks into springboards. Strategic action converts intention into results, deliberate, high-leverage choices that move you toward your vision efficiently and effectively. Alone, each of these qualities is powerful. Together, they form a living, breathing system that shapes a life of impact and fulfillment. Integration begins with awareness. Observe your life honestly. Where are your efforts scattered? Where are your habits misaligned with your goals? Where do fear, doubt, or distraction hold you back? Awareness is not judgment, it is clarity. It allows you to identify what works, what hinders, and where deliberate alignment is needed. Next comes alignment. Align your daily actions with your long-term vision. Each task, conversation, and decision becomes an opportunity to reinforce the life you are building. Integration means no longer acting out of autopilot or habit alone. Every choice carries intention. Waking up each morning, ask yourself, does what I am about to do reflect the life I want to live? Does it honor my vision, values, and purpose? Habits serve as the architecture of integration. Small, consistent practices compound over time to produce extraordinary outcomes. Reading, journaling, exercise, reflection, focused work. These are not mere routines, they are building blocks. As you integrate these habits into your life with consistency and purpose, the structure of your day mirrors the structure of your vision. Equally important is mindset. Integration demands a mindset of growth, adaptability, and abundance. Life will continue to challenge you. Unexpected obstacles will arise. But when your mindset is anchored in possibility rather than limitation, every difficulty becomes a chance to learn, grow, and strengthen your alignment with purpose. Integration also requires reflection. Pause regularly to examine the trajectory of your life. Are you moving toward your vision? Are your actions producing the results and the fulfillment you seek? Reflection is the compass that keeps your journey on course. It allows you to celebrate progress, correct course, and deepen your commitment. Connection and contribution are essential to integrated living. No life exists in isolation. The greatest fulfillment often comes from impact, helping others, inspiring change, or creating value beyond yourself. As you integrate personal mastery with service, you find a deeper sense of purpose. True integration is not self-centered. It is life-centered, purpose-centered, and impact-driven. Courage underpins every act of integration. To live intentionally, to align fully, requires courage, the courage to make hard decisions, to let go of what no longer serves you, to face discomfort, and to embrace the unknown. Every step toward integration is a step into authenticity, a step away from complacency, and a step toward the person you are capable of becoming. Gratitude anchors integration. Recognize the journey itself, the lessons, the growth, the effort, the victories, and even the setbacks. Gratitude transforms challenges into gifts and effort into meaning. When you cultivate gratitude daily, integration is not just a process. It becomes a state of being, a lens through which life's experiences gain coherence and richness. Finally, remember that integration is ongoing. It is not a destination but a continuous practice of alignment, reflection, adaptation, and intentional action. Each day provides an opportunity to refine, adjust, and deepen the connection between your vision and your reality. Life is dynamic, and integrated living evolves with it. As you step forward from this audiobook, carry these truths with you. Focus your energy where it matters. Discipline yourself to consistent, purposeful action. Resilience will carry you through challenges. Strategic action turns intention into tangible results. And through integration, every element of your life aligns with your deepest purpose. Your journey does not end here. It begins anew each morning, in each decision, in each moment where you choose alignment over distraction, courage over fear, and intention over passivity. Integration transforms knowledge into life, potential into achievement, and dreams into living reality. Look out at the horizon once more. The ocean stretches infinitely, the sun rises brightly, and every wave carries opportunity. You have the tools, the principles, and the insight to navigate this vast life with mastery, meaning, and fulfillment. Step forward with confidence, knowing that your life is not merely happening to you, it is happening through you, shaped by your focus, discipline, resilience, strategic action, and integration. Live intentionally. Live fully. Live alive. The journey you began when you first picked up this audiobook has led you to a new understanding of what is possible. Now equipped with knowledge, clarity, and courage, the extraordinary life you have envisioned is ready to be claimed, one deliberate choice, one focused action, and one integrated day at a time.